You've got quite the genealogy there. You go back to 1066.
Yeah.
But there's quite a void in between.
Yeah, we're not sure about that.
Yeah.
The Wings, we do have the direct line traced back to John Wing.
Yeah.
He was Reverend Wing in England, and he taught at the Church of England, and his sermons are still on file there.
Wow.
And so, and
Wow.
he was coming to America. He'd married Deborah Wing, and he was coming here, and he died. But she went ahead and brought the kids, except for one daughter. They left one daughter there. I'm not sure why, but she brought the rest of the kids
the
here.
daughter was married.
And brought her father with her, and he was a reverend. And they settled in Massachusetts.
Ah.
And they built a fort house there. And the Wing family is the only incorporated family in America.
Incorporated.
They are incorporated.
Huh.
Yeah. And the fort house is still there as a museum.
Wow.
They have their own family crest and everything. The Wing family has more than 1 million in the family, and 5 presidents.
5 presidents.
5 presidents are related in to
Like
the Wing
which
family.
ones?
Shoot, Ford was one. Do you remember which president's mom?
Monroe's the big one, isn't he?
Well,
Monroe.
that was the other side. That was the Monroe family. James Monroe.
Oh,
Oh.
He's some sort of great uncle.
Yeah.
But
And he was like the rest of us. He was so poor. When he died,
Yes.
he didn't have enough
He
money
was-
to bury him.
he was broke when he died.
Yes.
So we know he's definitely related.
Yes. That is Jennifer's, let's see, that's Jennifer's grandfather, and that's Cindy's grandfather. The baby is Cindy's grandfather.
This is Jennifer's grandfather, and this is Cindy's grandfather.
Yeah. That was Orange.
And this is Orange.
Yeah. And that
The
was
father's
Orange and Molly.
And Orange is the one
And
who
Molly.
walked.
That was Wing, Molly
Yeah.
Wing.
Molly Wing.
And Orange is the one who got here when he was 11.
He walked here on the Oregon Trail.
He got here in 1875.
Wow.
what was that tree they planted?
Oh, well, that's the Parker side. That's a different side of the family. The
Oh.
Parkers. They ran the toll gate up at on Mount Hood for a number of years. And the maples that are planted there where the old toll gate used to be up there,
Ah.
we think were planted by.
I know they were. Yeah.
We have a picture of him with the little baby trees in the background. We think are those trees.
So you got here in, did it seem like to you at that time?
Oh, it was a desolate place.
What time of year was it that you got here?
March.
March. Probably
The middle of March.
Snow on the ground?
I can't remember the snow, being snow, but I remember the mud. It was mud holes all over. We'd have to get the tractor and pull people through a mud hole with their car or truck. And I remember 46, Leo's mother was still alive. She died in 1949. And Leo and I lived over there to in the McAllister place in that big house. It was a beautiful place until McAllister's painted it black. I can't imagine anybody painting it.
I can't imagine either.
It was a big white house. And it was new. They just built it in 1943. Yeah, that house over there was built in 1943. The old house burned. And Leo had gone in the service. He was down in California, and it burned. And it was funny, his mom said she was upstairs and just picking up a few things to carry out when the house was on fire. And she never thought about opening the window and throwing things out the window. She'd just take a few things and carry them downstairs. Yeah. Yeah, that house burned in 1943. Well, the winter of 1943. or spring, I guess would have been in spring of 43. They burned. And then Leo's mother died in 1949. We lived with her and Leo's dad for 3 years. And she died. Then we lived with his dad for another 3 years. We married 6 years before we had a home of our own. We moved into that block house over there in April of 1952, just before Jennifer was born in August.
So Mom was pregnant when they moved into the new house.
Ah.
Wasn't it Chet that backed into it and knocked the back end out?
That was the garage. He hit the gas instead of the brake and ran through the garage over at his house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right through the saddles that were hanging.
it never was fixed. It's still,
You can still see the outline.
Yeah.
Yep. So you were born in 52.
52.
And you had the house then, and you were farming. The family was farming, wheat farming.
Wheat and Hereford cattle, and
Okay.
we every year put the cattle up in the mountains
Ah,
and take the herd up and
by
Right.
horseback.
By horseback.
Drive them up.
by horseback. Yep,
Which
And
route did you go?
it's right through Wamic.
Right through Wamic.
Yep, and up the back road there through Wamic and on up into the mountains.
Went past the church. up that
Yeah,
road.
up would be Dodson
Dodson.
Road now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is where we took the cows.
And how long would it take you? How long a drive was it? Like a day's drive?
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah, just a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn the cows loose. Some of them had the bells on
Yeah.
them, and they'd go up and check on them frequently up in the mountains. And I can still remember my grandfather. He'd roll the window down and he'd listen for bells, and then they'd also drive the truck along the dirt roads, and they'd be hanging out both doors looking for tracks. Yeah, go check on the cows. And in the fall, when they would go get the cows, all they had to do was just start turning them toward home, and they knew.
They knew where to go.
They knew where to go. Yeah, they'd always have lead cows that knew.
It was amazing. Those cows, you could know where a certain cow was going to go. They go to the same place all the time.
Ah.
Every year they go back to the same area. So you can know which old cow was going to go where.
The first year we didn't put them up in the mountains in the spring, they paced the outside of the fence. They followed the fence line all the way around that pasture, looking for a way to get out. They were ready to go to the mountains.
They knew it was time.
It was so sad to see, because they knew they wanted to go.
Well, the reason we had to quit putting them up there, they were going to make a fence around all the area. It got to be recreation. And so many people go to the mountains and campground. And then they got to complaining about the cow manure in the campgrounds. So it ended up recreation took over.
Huh.
Yeah.
It was too expensive.
Badger Lake in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, and Little Badger. It was
Yeah.
it would have been way too expensive to put fencing in up there.
Oh
And
yeah.
We
It's a lot
had
of area to fence.
to keep them up there. We had to build fences around the campgrounds,
Ah.
and we couldn't afford to build a fence up there.
Yeah. Yeah.